Hi, everybody. Welcome back to The Corner. It's good to have you with us today. My name is Rachel. I'm one of the small group pastors at the church. And I'm here with Chris, who spoke on Mother's Day.
I did. Huge honor to speak on Mother's Day. Shout out to my mom, who won't see this, but just want to say it.
Yeah, I think that's appropriate.
Yeah, I think so as well.
I think it's appropriate to say that I'm feeling really grateful because I'm leaving for Kelowna right after this for a week. So I'm missing small group, which means I won't have to sit and watch myself do this.
Oh, but it's like you will be there.
Yes, I guess.
In a sense.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So shout out to my group. Miss you guys. I miss you now, and we'll miss you on Tuesday. I'll read the passage that you spoke about on Sunday.
Sure.
And just to remind us, we are in the Sermon on the Mount. And in chapter 6, Jesus starts to talk about
do you want to jump in?
Jesus, should we keep going or should we restart?
Just do one of the...
Just to remind us, Jesus in chapter 6 starts to talk about how our righteousness should be that of the Pharisees. And so last week we talked about the spiritual practice of giving, and this week we are on to prayer. I'll read the passage. This is what Jesus says. He says, "And when you pray, do not be like the hypocrites, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues and on the street corners to be seen by others. Truly, I tell you, they have received their reward in full. But when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father who is unseen. Then your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. And when you pray, do not keep babbling like the pagans, for they think that they will be heard because of their many words. Do not be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you even ask him." And so at the beginning of this passage, the language of hypocrisy is used. And we talked a little bit about that last week in the sense of like the theater world, this performative act. And then when we're talking about prayer in that context, it's a bit of a weird one. It's like we pray all the time publicly.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit different than the giving piece, because how often are you really tempted to give publicly in a way where everyone's looking at you? But prayer is something we do in small groups publicly. It's something, we have dinner tables. And so it's something we do more often. And then the hypocrisy piece is like, the actor is both performing and even pretending to be someone else. And so there's this element of performing and even maybe pretending that can creep into prayer. And Jesus is cautioning us against that. And it seems like the hypocrites he's talking about they make it seem like they're praying to God, but they're really actually performing for people. That's like their inner motivation. And so when they get approval, wow, look at how eloquent you are, look at how spiritual you are, that's their reward in full.
Right. When we talk about what we're not supposed to do, Jesus lays it out. Don't be a hypocrite. Don't do it for the performance piece. Don't do it for the approval of others. He goes on to say what to do. Do it in secret.
Let me ask you a question. You sometimes will lead worship on stage. How do you guard your heart against the performance? Like there would be a real temptation in there. How do you know?
I mean, it's a constant temperature check of my heart. It's a constant check-in, and the more honest I am with my heart, obviously, the better. And I can deal with that appropriately. I think on that idea of checking in, it can so often be like check in just to check in. And I'll...
Like with your heart.
Yeah, I'll check in with my heart just for the sake of checking in, because I know that's what I'm supposed to do. And we are supposed to do that, and it's really important. But I think if we start with the check-in, that's when it becomes dangerous rather than starting with seeing Jesus. I think I think when I say, okay, Rach, see Jesus first, the check-in will happen later.
Right.
That's more of a natural and fruitful process than just going, check in with your heart, Rach, make sure you're not doing this for the wrong reasons.
So that it could be in serving and prayer
right.
and leading worship and all those things.
Yeah. So start with see Jesus, and then he'll, with love and compassion, convict my heart.
Right.
But don't just, it can feel really good to just, how's my heart doing? How's my heart doing?
Right.
Just check in. And I think being aware of that is kind of
I interrupted your flow a little, so you were transitioning us.
I was trying, no problem.
I was just curious.
Yeah. That's good.
And probably people will talk about that in small group potentially.
Great.
Yeah.
Jesus talks about now what to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's going, do it in secret. Close the door, lock it. He doesn't say lock the door.
No.
But it feels implied to me.
Yeah. There's probably, if there was a lock, I think you'd lock the door.
No? I do, every time I pray.
Right. Every time.
The point is, do it in secret. Mm-hmm. Make it a you and your Father only thing. Mm-hmm. And there's
kind
lots.
Like the audience of one type of idea that we've all heard about.
You tell the most beautiful story about this pianist who plays this grand show, and he finishes and the audience is roaring and there's a standing ovation, and he goes down, the pianist goes down and sits down, and his manager, go up and they want you. Yeah, do an encore, they want you. And he looks at in the front row, there's a man who has taught him piano, his piano teacher. And he says to his manager, no, until that one person stands up, I don't want to go up and do it again.
So he's really just playing for the audience of one.
That's such a beautiful picture.
Why didn't his music teacher stand up? It's like, come on, dude,
It goes with I get it.
Yeah, but it makes the point, audience of one, you're praying, not as a performance, but for an audience of one to connect with your Father in heaven. When you think about your journey with Jesus over the years, and you think about praying in private, what's helped you connect with the Lord? Because that's probably another thing that groups could talk about as well.
For sure. When I think about praying in private, first of all, I think about the most powerful moments I've had with the Lord. I think of the times when I've most felt his presence, or most been filled by his love, or been most aware of my identity in the Lord. Mm-hmm. And I think most of those times have been in private. And when we talk about, the context of the Sermon on the Mount, when Jesus is saying, this is how to live like me, this is how to be like me, you just think, well, he's not asking us to do something he hasn't already done.
Right.
He wants to step in on my quiet time. He wants to invade and minister to my heart when it's just me and him. Mm-hmm. Like, he wants to do that. Mm-hmm. And it pleases him and it delights him. And so then I just think a natural response for me is to pray, Lord, help me desire to just be one-on-one with you more. Mm-hmm. Help me want the same thing.
Right. It's interesting what you raise. I didn't even think about this in the message, but like this idea where Jesus says, go into your inner room, pray to your Father in heaven. And how Jesus all throughout his ministry went to solitary places to pray. And people would be like, where is he? They'd have to go looking for him, and he'd be praying to his Father in secret. But then Jesus also prayed publicly enough that his disciples said to him, teach us how to pray. It's the only thing they specifically said to Jesus, teach us how to do it. There's something about the way Jesus prayed in public that made them go, I want to know that intimacy with you. And I see it in public, but Jesus cultivated it in private. And there's an invitation for us to do that as well. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Anything else we want to say to them?
Well, I think just maybe a place to end it would be the place that you ended your sermon, the place that Alita ended her sermon. What is the prize here that Jesus is talking about? Yeah,
when he says connect with your Father in secret and he'll reward you.
Yeah.
And Alita last week and I this week went through, all the things that reward can mean, but this idea that really the reward is Jesus, more of Jesus, which shouldn't surprise us. didn't say that very well.
No problem.
Which shouldn't surprise us because in Genesis 15, God reveals himself to Abram, the father of the faith, and says, I'm your shield and your very great reward. And that hasn't changed. And then I ended the message with this John Piper quote that was a real challenge.
Are you going to read it right now for us?
People might have been wondering, why is there paper here that he's never looking at?
We're all wondering.
It's been a burning question in your minds, and so it's because I have the quote right here. And I will read it because I find it really captivating and compelling. And Piper says this, the critical question for our generation and for every generation, millennial, Gen Z, Gen X, baby, every generation you can think of. The critical question for our generation and for every generation is this. If you could have heaven with no sickness and with all the friends you ever had on earth and all the food you ever liked and all the leisure activities you ever enjoyed and all the natural beauties you ever saw, all the physical pleasures you ever tasted, and no human conflict or any natural disasters, could you be satisfied with heaven if Christ were not there? And I said, we need a generation of disciples and leaders who answer that question with a resounding no, because Jesus is our first desire and our very great reward, to seek him first. And so you can talk about that quote as well. Any final words? Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
No final words other than I hope your discussion's fruitful. And we'll throw it to discussion leaders now.
Hey everyone, you thought it was over and that we were gone, but we're back because Rachel has a very important announcement to make that we forgot.
That makes it seem personal, for sure.
No, it's church related.
It's church related.
We'll give you a personal update on her life at another point.
Ask me anytime. Alpha is starting up. Well, it actually started last night. Mm-hmm. And
you were there, right?
I was there. I've been a part of several alphas since the beginning of the Way's launch. And they're all incredible. Mm-hmm. Even online, they were all incredible. But there was really something special about the energy in the room last night.
Right.
And I'm really excited about it. So this is just a quick announcement to say it's not too late to sign up.
Yes.
If you yourself have questions and want to come, we are so happy to have you there. Or if you can think about someone in your life who you want to bring, then you can sign up online or shoot anyone an email.
Sometimes it's fun to take a risk and invite someone. Even if they say no, you celebrate the invite.
You do. You celebrate the invite.
And this is where it is. Like where we're filming is where we host Alpha. So I don't know if Lucas wants to pan the camera and you can see what the space looks like. Yeah. But it's a nice place to hang out. And it looks even nicer on Alpha nights.
We light candles. We have food together. You know the drill. We take every opportunity to talk about Alpha. But
there we go. So now we're done for real. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Okay, we're back again because we felt like that goodbye was awkward. And so we just wanted to say thanks for being here.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everyone. Have a great discussion.